Hello, everybody. Welcome to Hopoti's new edition. This is the online registration form or waiver form, depending on how you want to refer to it. So I just wanted to create a bit of a guide for centres as to how to set them up because I can't actually assist with you guys setting them up because I suppose it's kind of like your legal documentation, let's say. So yeah, let me just kind of walk you through how it works. So to start with, I'm just logged in here as myself, and I've made a booking for my daughter, Rachel, and I've not filled in a waiver for her yet for that booking. So you can see here in this notifications here of the next booking coming up on the account for my daughter is here, and that we need to sign the registration form. So I'm getting a warning here for that, and there's also another warning up here. In either place, if I click on it, I can be taken to the thing for signing the registration form. I can click on it, and there's my details of the form are going to pop up, and then I can sign it here, and then type in my name, for example, and just go like, for example, so Brian Bloomer, and then basically accept and send. So it's as simple as that. Now, I'm not actually going to do that because it's kind of handy to have this here for showing people. But that's basically how it works for the client. Okay, so that's really nice and clear. Also, if they're making a booking themselves, at the point where they're making the booking, if they've not already done a waiver, it's prompting them to say that they need to sign a waiver. It will not stop them making the booking because obviously we're wary of not losing customers at that point of purchase. We want to make sure that people are able to make the purchase, but it's going to give them lots of clear indications, and it'll do the same for all the centers as well. So jumping into the next part, I'm just going to go in and have a look at our grassland demo stable here. So if you bear with me a second, I'm just going to scroll down here to that demo stable. Okay, so this is where we've got one set up. So that the best place, first of all, to go in and see these is to go in via clients. So click on the clients tab here. Then if you go to the form section, you can see there's various kind of forms that have been set up here. So there's some test ones done in Finnish and stuff here as well. So it's just to show you how this works. You click on the edit form section. I've created one here just based off the ARA example. I was just kind of playing around with it, but I just want to show you how to actually create your own. So you basically go to add form here. Okay, so now, there's a few different examples of types of stuff that you could use these forms for. So you could use them for contracts for your livery owners, you could use them for surveys. There's lots of different kind of functions you could choose to use them for. But the one most important one, this top one here, is the only one that's tracked and will insist upon clients actually signing this, let's say. So this is your main waiver form or your registration form. So if you click on this, let's do that, and I'll just show you how it works. So once you've completed it and you've set it all up, you hit this publish thing. But for now, let's just leave that. You can add some notes as to what specifically this waiver is for. Now it's just a question of you've got all these kind of different options down the side here, and you can just literally just drop them in. So for example, if you want to include a paragraph here, and then you could basically insert the text. So riding is a risk sport, and so on and so on. You can pop that in there. If you want to have, say for example, there's multiple options that you want a client to choose from, you could use the select function. Once you do that, if you go in, you can just hit edit, and you can say, okay, option one, and you can create as many options as you like, and they can choose from them. The other one that's similar to that, I suppose, is you've got the checkbox group. This allows you to basically, or allows the client to select multiple options. So you can basically go in here and they can select, again, as many options. So they could say that certain, like maybe 3 or 4 things are applicable to them. So you could maybe say, what have you done so far in your riding thing? And you could have walk, trot, canter, small jumps. You could have lots of different options, and they could just select the ones that they've actually done so far, for example. With these as well, you can move different boxes around. So if you needed to kind of drag and drop them to different places, so you can change the kind of the layout of the form. And then basically the other ones here, I suppose the radio group is basically like the checkbox thing, except they'll have to pick one or the other. So if you have the only one option can be true, that's the one to use for that. For a text field, it's basically going to give them, so say for example, if you have a question saying, tell us about your previous riding experience, you pop that in there. I'll just chuck one in here, for example. Let's see here, I'll just edit this. Please give more details about your previous riding experience. Okay, and then you can say that this required button means that they would have to fill it in. It will not let them complete the form unless they've filled something into this text box. Okay, and then just close it when you're done. The signature boxes are obviously, there's one there by default, but you can drop in extra signature boxes if you want. So for example, if there's two different parts of the form where you might want a signature, just literally do the same. You just drag and drop it over. If there's something where you want them to fill in a specific an answer in terms of a numeric answer, use that one. And yeah, you can also put in emojis and stuff like that. I think I certainly won't be using the emoji bit, but you never know, if there's something else you want to pop in there, you can use that. That's probably more useful in terms of your kind of your feedback forms and stuff later on. So once you've then filled all the bits and you've designed it to how you want it to look, you then hit the preview version, and then that's going to basically show you exactly what's going to look like. And you can see here that this is like a box they absolutely have to fill in, and then the clients can sign and fill in their details here. One other thing I forgot to mention here, guys, this is very, very useful in terms of the user information. So that's a really handy one. So if you drop that one in, that's going to basically pre-populate the details that they already have from when they're setting up their account in terms of their height and their weight, and details that they've already filled in when they're setting up their account. So that's very, very useful to have. So it means that you're not having to ask them to do that again. Okay, so yeah, that's basically how you use that. Once you're happy with it, you can turn it on to published, and then hit save. Once that's done, it's then a question of really thinking about, well, when do you want these to go live? So obviously, it can be handy to have them like straight away. You might want to say, okay, well, let's start collecting these new forms straight away, because what if the previous form might be missing or something like that? So you could do it straight away, or you might want to wait until the first of the year, 1st of January, to actually kind of turn it on. Let's say to do that, you can go to settings, and then there's a section here for the forms. And then, so what you do here is you turn this on. So basically saying you want to get an email copy. You don't have to, but I would probably recommend it. Have that coming in, just so you've got a backup copy coming into your email address as well, although everything is securely stored in the cloud. Then the registration forms bit here, you basically turn that. Once that's on, that's going to mean that that's going to force people to then have to do a registration form. It's going to give them those warnings that they haven't yet done their forms, and give you the warnings as well that a client hasn't done a waiver form. So when you're ready to go, turn that on, but just keep in mind that that is going to then flag up to both you and the clients that they haven't done a waiver. So just keep that in mind. And then this one here is just, if you turn that on, that means that if you decide to edit the main waiver form or replace the main registration form, as soon as you've put in a new one in place, it's going to prompt those clients immediately to do a new one. The next thing that's important to note here, guys, is just this, the expiration date. So you can choose a specific number of months that you want this. So you could say it's valid for 12 months, or you could basically say that it's valid up until the beginning of the next calendar year, and then it'll prompt them to do a new version, basically. So yeah, that's your kind of your choices there. Once that's done, yep, you're good to go. And so then you're kind of up and running. The other things to note, guys, if with these other forms here, these other types of ones, these non-essential forms, let's say, you can create them. So you could use these for, say, like a camp enrollment form, or if there's any kind of extra paperwork needed for, maybe you're running a kind of a hunter trials competition or something like that, and you need extra forms, or even say the livery agreement forms, you just go to your stable section. So once you've created them, you can go to your stable section, you go to the forms piece here, and then you've got access to these forms just by clicking on the link here. So pop into it. So you can either direct people to this part of your site, or you can share a link with these straight to that for the client, so that'll prompt them to go and fill it in. So you can just kind of copy that and share it straight to people. Or for example, you could embed it into the description of a lesson, for example. So yeah, that's a quick guide on how to use it. If you're getting stuck at all, I'd recommend, the chat support here from Hopoti is always excellent. So send them a message if you have any questions. But it's great because it's storing these in the cloud. It stores it against the client account as well. and you can then easily see, for example, any clients who haven't filled in the waiver. For example, you'll see here, these kind of red circle ones going to show you that that client hasn't done a waiver yet. You can also click on the missing registration forms tab to be able to give certain people a nudge that they haven't done their waiver form yet. Or if you're going into the events as well, if there's somebody booked into a lesson that they haven't yet done the waiver form yet, again, you can hover over it and you'll see that the registration form is not yet signed. So yeah, lots of kind of ways to kind of protect you against missing that somebody hasn't done their waiver. Okay, well look, we hope you enjoy this new edition. We think it'll make a massive difference to everybody. So yeah, enjoy, and yeah, any questions, give us a shout.